Alright guys, I am working on a 2002 Honda Accord 4-cylinder manual transmission. This is my daily driver. It's got 170,000 miles on it. And today, what we want to do, I've been having some electrical issues with starting. I've had the battery replaced and the alternator checked, and everything seems to be fine. But what I've noticed is, although the terminals are nice and clean, the wires themselves are both corroded and fraying significantly, both on the positive and the negative side. And in fact, if I can get the camera down here, right there you can see that the negative is completely exposed all the way down there as well. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and fix that. And so what we have today are a few things. We have some WD-40 in case I have issues with getting some of those screws out. We have a J battery hold down bars, new, because the old ones are corroded. We have a 51-inch 4-gauge wire that we will go ahead and use for the negative, that part that I showed you that was corroded down there. That's going to be a replacement wire for that. We also have a 24-inch 4-gauge, and that's going to replace the other negative wire. And then we have a top post dual lead cable saver, which is a splice. And so what we'll do is we'll cut back the current positive cables to where they're not corroded. We'll connect them to this, and then I think what I'm going to do is also replace this post. So I have some new positive and negative terminals there that are heavy duty, and so I will probably cut that off, splice it onto this, and then of course we got some electrical tape in order to go ahead and make sure that it's watertight and ready to go. So that's what we're going to do, and so I'll go ahead and cut in and out on this as I go through it. Really the only tools that I'm really going to need are a couple wrenches to go ahead and get those bolts off. There's the bolt here, and then again where that cable is down here, if I can get it to focus, which I can't right this second. Let me see here. Let me get back down. That cable right there in the center of your screen. So I'll go ahead and remove all those things and we'll get started. Alright guys, just a quick update on some of the tools I'm going to be utilizing here. So I have a battery powered impact wrench that I will go ahead and utilize with that post there, as well as a socket set. I have electrical tape dispenser. I have a razor blade to go ahead and take the shielding off of the cables. I have a wire stripper. Not sure that will work or not. If not, no big deal. I can go ahead and pull that off with the razor blade. We then have a bolt cutter as well as some tin snips. Now, I don't probably have the correct tools to go ahead and cut through these cables, but I figure between the two of those I can go ahead and cut through them no problem. So those are the tools that I'll be using, and we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll let you know once the battery's disconnected, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, we're back. We have the battery leads removed, both the positive and the negative. Then I've also removed this bracket. We'll go ahead and get this out of the way and get the other wire here as well, or the other J clamp. Alright, so I will lift the battery out and we'll go ahead and move on to the next step of clipping both the positive and the negative wires so that we can go ahead and remove them. Alright guys, a bit of an update. The negative cable is now completely off. Down in there, sort of center of your screen, it's a little, there it's in focus, just below that top bolt. That bottom one, that's where we had to disconnect, and just as way of an update, I needed to go ahead and utilize a different socket and socket wrench that is, and needed to put an extension on. So here is, it's a 10 millimeter, but then had to have an extension on there in order to get down there, and that could just be based upon the size of my hands and things as well. But the cable is currently out, and we will go ahead and get the new one installed. Alright guys, by way of update, we have the two negative cables, brand new cables, connected. So down here you can see the shiny piece right there in the middle, and that is the new cable, which is then wired up through here and then comes out to an end here. I had to clip off the end so that I can go ahead and connect to the terminal. And then this is the second new one, going to the body, and then again clipped off to the end so that those two can be put together in the negative terminal right there. So what we will do next is the splicing of the positive, and so I will take these, cut these back about right here on both sides, and then what that will allow us to do is be able to use this cable saver splicer. Those cables will then go into each one of these terminals, be locked down, covered up, and then I think what I'm going to do here again, because I don't like this lightweight connector, is I will go ahead and cut, give me just a second here. Sorry, trying to film with one hand and work with one hand. Is I will go ahead and pull this back and cut it. You can see the copper right in there possibly. It's not going to focus, but there's copper in there. Go ahead and cut that back, and then go ahead and put that into the positive post here. And then at the end, what I'll do is on all these, once those are connected, is I'll go ahead and wrap those all in the black electrical tape to make sure we don't get any water, and hopefully the corrosion does not come back. So that's what I'm going to do. So I will give you an update here in just a minute. Alright guys, another quick update. So the one positive cable I already have connected. This one I just went ahead and stripped down and made sure that there was enough room. And now I will go ahead and utilize this, pull this sheathing back so that I can get to the lockdown screw. There we go. So you see a lockdown screw right there. It goes in there. So I will go ahead and essentially put this in here, get it locked down, put the sheathing back down, and electrical tape that so that that's completely sealed. And I will go ahead and do the same thing with the negative cables. I'll strip those down and then go ahead and get those connected to the terminal as well. And we should be probably about 10 minutes away from starting the car. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, by way of the update, I already have the positive cables connected. They are all taped up real nice and tight. I have yet to go ahead and splice this off, but I did utilize the negative cables and got those wire stripped and then connected into this terminal, and I will go ahead and tape that off. And once I tape that off, I will go ahead and cut the sheathing on this, take this off, and put the other high or heavy duty battery connector on it, get it taped up, and we'll be ready to start putting the battery back in. Okay guys, I have the positive terminals connected. Everything's electrical taped on there. Can't get to any of those copper wires anymore. Same thing on the negative. We have it completely spliced, and actually new cables throughout it, spliced cables on the positive. So the next thing is just reinstalling the battery. So I will get that started, and we'll come back and we'll test it out. Okay guys, we're back, and I have everything, the battery back installed. I have the terminals connected. And so now it is the moment of truth. Before I put the battery bracket back on, before I clean up the wires a little bit, we want to verify that everything is working. So let's go around and see if we have lights in the car. We have a light here, that's good. We get into the car, the clock has reset, so that's also good. We also have a dome light, so that's good. So we have power. Now let's go ahead and start it. And we have all of our dash lights. So all of that is functioning, radio is functioning, and we're good to go. So that has been successful. And in theory, we should not have any more starting issues in regards to the battery. So hopefully this was helpful for all of you. It was my first time attempting it, and so do not be afraid to attempt something similar if you're having issues. I did go through a few more tools than what I thought, as you can see here. Different size socket wrenches, a couple of flat pliers, etc. But really it wasn't anything out of the ordinary, so anybody with a set of sockets and a few wrenches should be able to go ahead and do this job without a problem. Again, I'll go through, tidy up all of these wires here, make sure they're not going to go anywhere. I'll reinstall the battery, actually the new J battery holder that's going to go on here, and we should be all set. Thanks so much for joining me. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, or if you have any comments, please feel free to comment. Ciao for now.